Welcome to Around the Blockchain. This is the show where I bring people from other places on, and I host every single day at this time. We come to you live every single day at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Ben, and I am your host today. I had this idea for this show back in 2007. It's my first chance to get into crypto, and it's worked out really well. I'm so excited. I bought my first Bitcoin for $100 in 2002. Welcome to my show. Guys, we're going to try to get by the seat of our pants today as we are running this show without DZ. Guys, obviously, welcome to the People's Channel, the home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. My name is Ben, and nobody works freaking harder to keep you in the know about crypto than me.
You got that
Guys,
Kanye West.
That's not how DZ does it.
Kanye, whoa, bigger, faster, stronger. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm going to put on
let's
for
go.
my city. Put it on for my city, ATL, heading to Minneapolis in the morning. Let's start with our first contestant on today's show, where, by the way, if you don't score the most points, you die. It is Andrew Mo. Speaking of death, stock market crash today. I got a tweet pulled up we're going to look at in a second. How the heck are you, Andrew?
I'm doing so good. And it's so good to see you hosting what you do every single show.
Every single show. Absolutely. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while, Andrew. Good to see you. Good to know that you're still alive despite the stock market. Speaking of people who are alive, listen, is it hers or his? No, it's mine, your biz. There's my best DZ impression. A bad rap for you. Welcome, Seth, to the show. One of the smartest guys I ever met in my whole life. Next, we've got Altcoin Daily. I believe this one, his name is Austin. He's not from Boston. But listen, if you had a choice, just kidding, you don't have one. You're always listening to his voice. From Altcoin Daily, here it is. Austin.
DZ, come back. Return to us. Thank you, Ben. Good to be here.
And here. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
Good to be here.
Speaking of disrespectful,
best for
wait,
last,
no, that's
right?
not a good lead-in. That's not a lead-in. That's not a good lead-in. I don't want to speak about crypto blood. It's disrespectful. I respect this guy. He's one of the first guys that told you we were heading to a bear market. There he is. Crypto blood.
Thank you.
That's right.
Ben.
And when I say he's from the D, I'm not calling him a dick. Thank you for telling us we were all in a bear market. That's right. Guys, this show is lost already. I don't know if we'll be able to get through it today, but we are going to do our very best. Let's get started by showing CoinMarketCap. This is a part of the show we call Market Watch. Why do we call that? Because we're all watching for, oh my gosh, I've already messed up.
Oh, bet. No.
Here we go. Coming in at $2.47 trillion. We got 78 billion in volumes because all the volume's on the stock market right now. ETH dominance dropping again to 19.1%. Can they see this at the top?
No.
I don't know if they can see that.
Just
Let's
pull
move
it-
down here.
Just pull it down.
Bitcoin coming in at $29,000, 1,963 for Ethereum. Let's get right to Andrew here. Andrew, I want to show you this tweet here. This is from famed and world-renowned, most expert financial advisor available by Bear Stearns himself, Jim Cramer. He says, I will say this. This has to be one of the worst days I can recall in years, and I have been around the block, but he hasn't been around the blockchain, and you have. So tell us, Andrew, what the heck is going on? Is he exaggerating here, or was this really one of the worst days we've seen on the stock market?
He's probably had a Wendy's chicken sandwich, is I believe his catchphrase for his wife. I think Mr. Jim Blamer is a person that has been around the block way too many times. You have to kind of put him in a rocking chair and then say, look how many times you've gone around the block, because he'll just think that, you know, one economic recession, one economic pullback is once around the block for him. But you were the one that said by Bear Stearns, he said that famously right before a terrible economic meltdown, let's say. If you've been following the charts recently, I'm just gonna keep talking until I get points. Demand.
No, go ahead. Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to even give points. There's extra points just for bringing up the fact I'm supposed to give people points.
Yes,
More
thank
money
you.
Ain't playing, boy.
I would say that in 2008 we had a double top on the Nasdaq. as well as a lot of the stock market. And that was one of the easiest ways to tell that that was going to be a bad time, like a roller coaster that has two little humps at the very top that indicate that you have tested the same resistance. Now,
Andrew, I need to stop you. When it comes to humps, do you prefer 2 or 3?
I don't believe in 3.
You don't believe in the 3 hump camel?
Just one? Okay.
I don't believe in 3.
Okay, don't believe in 3.
If you look at the same charts right now for the last month and a half, you're looking at very, very similar, not the same resistance tested, but very, very similar double humpage, and you don't want to see that. Well,
I tell you, sometimes double humpage, not that bad. Listen, here's what I'm going to say on this. You know, Elon Musk has said, let me go to you, Austin, real quick, before we even get into our first topic here, because this is what I do. I run my show the way I freaking want it. We may not even do topics today. Who's going to know? Nobody makes it to talk except for me.
Preach, Reverend.
Let's go. Austin, welcome to the show. And I want to ask you, Elon Musk earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, I believe, he was speaking at the All In conference. He said we are already in a recession in the United States. Obviously, this heavily relates to crypto. What are your thoughts? Do you believe we are absolutely in a recession?
Ultimately, first off, great to be here. Ben, I love when you host. I love the loosey-goosey, yet on-topic feel. To answer your question, ultimately, we'll only have a confirmed recession in retrospect. You know, I think we're all reading the same charts now. I forget the exact amount the stock market has to dip. Please shout it out if you know it, to be considered to qualify as a specific recession. But 20%. I think we're all sort of watching the same geopolitical or just economic climate, especially in the U.S., which is the Federal Reserve has made it very clear they will be raising rates all year. For the folks at home, that brings a gravity onto the market. They've been, as they have stated, they've been, aggressive in these first few months, and inflation has not, it's slowed down just the littlest bit, but is nowhere close to where they want it to be. So we have all expectations that they will keep raising rates into the rest of this year. And, markets are probably going to be leveled a little bit more. I think that's what Elon's saying.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on a lot of those points. Well, let's get started with the first topic here, and let's go to a man who is known for having 0 points. Mind your biz. We're going to start off with you. I just wanted to reference you have no points. I want to give that to you. You've added nothing to the show so far.
Facts.
Absolutely nothing.
Facts, man.
There, give him a point.
That was good. Yep. Hey, when you say something that I say is facts, hashtag facts, you get points on this show.
Chat, make it blow up. Hashtag facts.
Let's go. And that's not, by the way, FAX that some people might be thinking. Very, central banking, old technology. People might be thinking facts.
Yeah. What's facts?
Okay. So here's what we got for topic number 1. Investors have increased their cash holdings at highest level since 9/11, and that obviously goes back to 9/11, 2001. And, what we're seeing is more and more people are going to cash. And I got crucified last year for telling people in a Bitcoin echo chamber that I thought it would be valuable to be moving to cash as we head into this year because the inflation can't continue. The question I've got for you here, Seth, when we're looking at this stuff, let me find what question I have for you. We still have a lot more hikes to go with this. Are we just seeing the beginning of the blood when it comes to the stock market here? Or are we going to see some of this stuff baked in?
Well, Ben, I hate to be the boomer doomer, but I was alive and an adult when 9/11 happened, and I do remember how bad those markets were from firsthand experience. I was alive and an adult and trying to provide for kids when the downturn of 2008 happened, so I remember those things really, really well. And yeah, history doesn't repeat, but it definitely rhymes. I think we're in for a lot more blood. I think we're in for a much worse time. It will get worse before it gets better. And that's going to be accompanied by these Fed rate hikes. So yeah, we're going to see that people who heeded the sound advice of people like you and others who were saying like, no, cash is a pretty good idea right now. They're going to see some of their buying power of their cash disappear too. There's no way out of this is what I'm saying. The gravity is just too big. So yeah, I think it is going to get pretty messy pretty soon. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the guy who's saying that, but I mean, hashtag facts is facts. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, my friend.
I'll tell you, when we put on Twitter, like at the beginning of April, that we definitely believe that we're in a bear market, people crushed us for saying that. No, it's coming back up. It's coming. People don't like to hear the truth. And for those of us that have been around a long time, like you, Seth, like you, Blood, as well, obviously other people on the show, but I'm heading to you here, Blood. We've seen a lot. we've been through a lot in this market. We've seen this before in crypto. You know, I mean, I think we're all old enough to remember 9/11, to remember 2008 financial crisis. How should people be preparing right now amidst all of this uncertainty? If we're heading to lower prices in the stock market, in crypto overall, like what are things people can be doing now, or is it kind of too late and they're going to have to lie in the bed that they've made?
No, it's not too late. I mean, it would have been great if they would have listened to you and I maybe a month or so ago. But it is what it is, man. It's unfortunate. You know, I feel real sorry for you, Ben, because you have a huge audience, and it's like you gotta try to be. They want you to be a perma bull. You know what I mean? They just want you to always be bullish, but you got to give them the truth. And I think that at this point, cash is king. You know, I know we don't like hearing that, but we see the stats. You know, Wall Street, they're in cash, highest it's been since 9/11. And they're positioning themselves to accumulate more stocks at a lower price. That's what it's all about. Just because we say go to cash doesn't mean we hate crypto, doesn't mean we love the central banks. No, it's a game that we have to play. And I just think going to cash will allow you to accumulate more coins at a lower price. You'll be able to get more coins, guys. That's it.
Absolutely. I think that's great. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the way I do about this, is that certainly could be getting worse, but man, what an opportunity for people that missed it. Like, may have quite a long opportunity here, but this is what 4 years from now, people are going to look back on and be like, man, if I had just got in then, I would be doing great. Because getting in now,
going to zero. We're not going to zero. We're not saying that. You know, we're going lower. And dollar cost average in, we don't know where the bottom is. I was thinking 20,000, but I'm hearing I had Gareth Salloway on again. He's like 4th time on my channel, and I know he's been on your channel as well. And he's saying like 14,000. You know, so that may be the place. But I'm going to start dollar cost average.
The numbers are 10,300. That's the 85% drawdown. The last two markets, 84, 86%. You average out, you get an 85% drawdown. The numbers would say 10,300. Now, intellectually honest with my brain or with my heart, I don't believe it's going to go that low. But the numbers suggest we're exactly on track for an 85% pull down based on the previous markets.
You see that? You see my screen there? I got an old buddy there, Michael Saylor line. That's the Michael Saylor line where he's going back to McDonald's, ladies and gentlemen. If we cross that $21, it is over for it. You know, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he may have to change his name to like, I don't know, Geikel Pilot or something, because I don't know. He might have to change his name. Might have to rebrand. You know, nothing rhymes with Michael. You know, there's no great word that rhymes with Michael. Let me take it to somebody who, when he wants to talk, he makes it known. He raises his hand. Altcoin Hanley. There he is. Let's move on here. What are your thoughts on that? And here's a point for raising your hand. I really enjoyed that.
Gotta DZ kept us, in line. Got to be respectful. Took that with me. But Ben, team, audience at home, I'm sure you can already tell, but I just came from yoga. Love yoga. Yes. Do it a couple times a week. And to relate it to what we were just talking about, somebody, I'm sort of the crypto guy there sometimes for people that know me. And we were talking about the market, and I said, I do think we have lower to go. I have no clue, but it seems like the tea leaves are clearly showing us that the Fed's going to keep raising rates. The market's going lower. And so he asked me, so you sold everything? And I said, no.
No.
And he said, well, if you think it's going lower, why don't you sell? And ultimately, for the folks at home, number one, I have no clue what the Bitcoin price will do tomorrow. Neither do you. The bull case would be, 2 more countries adopt Bitcoin as the reserve currency, and then that's the new narrative. That can happen like that. Is it likely? I don't see that in the short term. I think it's more likely that we had lower. But I think the answer is, for me at least, what I'm doing personally is I think now is a great time to start dollar cost averaging on the way down. As we head lower, that's the time you want to buy, because you'll never get the exact bottoms. Yeah. I'm not touching alts personally yet. For me, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, just because I'm most bullish on those long term. They are sort of the safest play. But on the way down, that's when you want to dollar cost average in. On the way up, that's when you want to take profits.
Great. Let me take it one more time to Andrew MO. Sorry, making those kind of jokes is kind of my MO. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's a triple.
Double entendre.
It was good.
Triple.
Ooh, it was good. It's like the triple
Ours,
axle
boy.
of dad joke ice skating. Andrew, here's what I want to know from you. You are so plugged in to the stock market community, the meme stock community, the whole thing, way more than probably the rest of us are. What do you think we're going to see from your traditional, investor, your traditional retail investor? Do you believe we're going to see some of these people during these times move over to crypto because they might see more upside from a bottom? Or do you think actually it might be the opposite? We might have more people going over to the stock market because it might be a good chance kind of to get in the beginning of another bull run that may last 20 years, 13 years, whatever it is.
The worst part about it is that entire governments are now starting to stake their crypto central bank digital currencies. And that comes back to sovereign crypto. Someone on my show came in a year ago and started talking about, we're going to be talking about sovereign crypto for the next like 20, 30 years. If you start talking about it now, it's going to be a game changer. At that point, it really was confusing. Why would governments start, adopting into Bitcoin when they can build their own? You can see like countries all over Europe starting to do it. And having months of data backing them up. The worst part about it is now you are kind of dipping your government feet into heavier, murkier waters. And that ends up being a dangerous place when we start comparing that to larger crashes than 2008. For example, back in 1920s, right. We're really going back 100 years and thinking about a series of governments investing in speculative, at best, very dangerous at worst technologies, and we don't normally do, especially during the beginning of an all-time low. So there's the question. But then again, come back to it and think about 2008. That was where the S&P 500 was at 150, right? Yeah, no, 1,500. So the double top to 1,500, dropped all the way down to 800, right? Lost half of its value. Right now, we're looking at 4x. We're thinking about people, they're getting the bottoms of their bottoms. If you just were in a coma for that entire recession, you would be up 4x. So that's the real question. Do you want to be in a coma and hold your money in a very, very, historically secure place over a long period of time? Or are you going to feel like you're bleeding every single day? And is that going to do a lot worse to your mental health?
Yeah, I think when it comes, that's a great point. I think whether it's being in a coma or touching bottoms, I know what most people would rather be doing. Let's move on to the next segment here. And there was a great segue from Andrew there, as we are talking about CBDCs. And just kind of my thought on CBDCs, we head into looking for some of this stuff, is that, the idea is some people that are kind of, on the orbit of crypto, they hear about these CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and they think, what's the point of Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin isn't really a currency anymore, guys. It's digital gold. And when you look at the world of actual digital currencies that are trying to be digital currencies that are not privacy coins, I think what you'll see is there's actually not a lot of competition, and I don't think that it's going to suck a bunch of money off of the market. So that's something to keep in mind. But Norway, has now decided their central bank is going to be tapping ETH, and they're going to be using layer 2 solutions for their CBDC pilot. NAMI and Ethereum L2 announced they've been tapped by Norges Bank to host the sandbox for the country's national currency, the krone. So I'm going to bring it here to, let's go back to, I don't know who I want to go to. Do I want to go back to Seth? Do I want to go in the same order? Do I want to go a different order? Do I want to go right back to Andrew? No, he already kind of touched on some of this.
Coach, I'm open. Just throw a ball.
Let's go.
You want to go to Sailor.
Let's go back to Sailor. Let's go back to Sailor. You get a point for that. And Seth, I would take a point away from you for shamelessly trying to have your own segment, but I can't. So you have a point in the negative in the bank there, sir. It works. It works for Austin raising his hand, but the audible, hey, give me my turn. I can't get with it. I can't.
That's fine. As long as you can pay me in negative Bitcoin, I'm okay with that.
Where's the mute button? Do I have a mute button? Do I have a mute button? I love Seth. I'm just kidding. But let's come to you on this. Do you think that Norway here is making a good decision. And I'm not sure if you even know what NAMI is, if you've heard of it, but do you think ETH Layer 2 is a good direction for them to go?
Probably not for a central bank digital dollar or currency. I think a Layer 1 would be best, in my opinion. So go pick a Layer 1 that can scale and take on that bandwidth. So it's weird that they're doing this. Now, Altcoin Daily and I were talking before we went live. It's a sandbox, so I don't know how real this is. It's kind of maybe just a pilot or test. So we'll see what happens. But I would say, I don't know who's advising them, but Layer 1, you want to go Layer 1 on something this big, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great pilot reference after showing Michael Saylor at the beginning of this segment. Let's go to Seth, because I'll be honest with you, I feel sorry for him down there. I love Seth. I will tell you this, Seth is one of the smartest people I've ever been around.
Yeah, he is.
I have to wake up with myself every single day. So that's a bold statement for you or for me to make. And if you can make that statement as well and affirm what I said, that'd be great. Seth, let's talk about this. I mean, I know you have a lot of thoughts on CBDCs. This is kind of your wheelhouse, like when it comes to the future of crypto and keeping things fair and decentralized. What do you think we're looking at here with this? Do you think eventually CBDCs are going to win the race for world currency, or do you think it will be something decentralized?
That's a really great question, and I appreciate you asking me my take on it. I'm not a fan of CBDCs, as you rightly pointed out, in part because they put us right back into the position that Satoshi, in his, one part manifesto, one part white paper, was talking about us getting away from, right? Like in that first Genesis block, he talks about Chancellor on the brink of second bailout. These are infamous words now in this space, right? Whether you're a Bitcoin maxi or not, you're just kind of tangentially aware of it. We're all sort of aware that Satoshi was not a big fan of centrally controlled currencies either, or central banks either, because they were privileged to bailouts, because they did really irresponsible things with lending in the first part of the 2000s and got a slap on the wrist, got bailouts, and returned to doing irresponsible things, just in a different sector, right? Not with mortgages, but with smaller categories of loans, leading us up to the situation that we're in now. So yeah, I share that sentiment. I'm not a big fan because the central banks have done so much damage. Now, to me, it's immaterial what it's built on. It really is. It's immaterial what it's built on, because you can build a centralized system on top of decentralized networks. And I'm not here to argue which one is most decentralized versus which one isn't. But central bank digital currencies, by their definition, are centralized systems. It's not hard to build a centralized system on top of a decentralized network. Moving the other way around, right? Having a centralized system like CBDCs and trying to use them in a decentralized way is much harder, right? Like, so the moment we get that, forget the notion that everybody here grew up with and uses today of cash. That goes away. The moment you decide, you know what, I really want to buy a pack of gum. I don't know. Does that have artificial sweeteners in it? Could be bad for your health. The regime says it's bad for your health. No, no pack of gum for you. Heaven forbid you go out and buy some Swisher Sweets because that's your thing, right? Like Swisher Sweets.
Swisher Sweet reference.
That's the devil's smoke.
Points on that one.
Just saying, man. That just is what it is, right? Like.
Yeah. Takes me back to 18
whatever
years
it is
on the block.
whatever your pleasure is, right? The CBDC makes that impossible for you. So I'm not a big fan of that at all. No.
Yeah. But just very quickly before I move on here to get some of Austin's takes here. Real quick, do you believe that CBDCs are inevitable, though?
I believe that it's inevitable that governments will want to create them, but decentralized systems can absolutely run in parallel, and those of us who choose to use them will always have a choice. We will always have a choice. We will always have a say. I don't care where in the world you live. You can vote with your feet. You can vote with your dollars. You don't have to opt into programs like that.
Wow. And look at this guy getting so many points on one question, affirming that I said he was smart. Thank you. Austin. Let me ask you about this, kind of along the same lines of what we were speaking about there with Seth here. Consensus has reported some central banks are eyeing a permissioned version of Ethereum, as I said, a closed system built on top of an open system, specifically Consensus Quorum. How does a permissionless Ethereum differ from an open Ethereum? And I think I know the answer to this last one. Is it a good option? Oh, crap.
It is. I mean, this is the war we're fighting: open permissionless systems against the permissioned private systems. There will be both. If you think the world is trending more digital in the next 10, 20 years, which I think we all do, then yes, every single government will have a CBDC. In my opinion, they can do their little test pilot on whatever layer 2 they want. The thing that's most important, I think, at least in these next 5 years, is, can it interoperate on Ethereum? And even if you do a competing L1, everything's sort of interoperating with everything. Now, I liked what Seth said. I understand why he gave him so many points, because we can vote with our dollars, we can vote with our choices, and ultimately, these governments want something permissioned that they can control, that they can make it easier for them to have full, total control over the monetary supply. Now, I personally think that unless you go a totally, algorithmic, I know that's a dirty word right now, or decentralized stablecoin, then any centralized stablecoin is going to have these principles. That's why we have Bitcoin.
Yeah, I love it. And then he froze. Or the rest of us still
here. Out of here.
Oh, we're still here.
We're still here.
Ethereum has taken Austin out. Must have been William Henman behind.
Nice
the whole
gas
thing,
fees.
Obviously, there he is. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
I was finished.
Raised his hand again, so he gets a point. All right, we're going to be quick with this last one, because it's not really like a gigantic story, but want to get your thoughts on all the stuff going on with Twitter and Elon Musk right now. We're going to just do a quick lightning round here. Basically, we're going to start with my order on my screen, which is Crypto Blood. Then we're going to go to Andrew Mo, then Austin, and then we're going to finish up with Seth. Aave is now launched something called Lens, Lens. This is a decentralized NFT-based Twitter rival. I want a time frame, and if you know of a good competitor to this question, or if you know a good competitor maybe that you have as a prospect for maybe a new decentralized social media, how long is it before a decentralized social media platform gets traction? And do you have a prospect for what it might be? Go ahead, Crypto Blood.
No, I do not. It's too early, man. But I do say, man, they pumped in all the buzzwords in that one. A decentralized blockchain, Twitter, I think it's actually not probably going to get much traction. With tech like this, it's very hard to take critical mass or adoption from a critical mass platform. So I don't see it really probably getting too far, to be honest with you. Twitter is probably going to still remain the king.
And my guy Blood, we always agree. Almost always agree, except he likes EOS. Andrew Bo, let's move on. Let's move on to you. Okay, before we move on to you, Andrew, that's like the first conversation Crypto and Blood and I had ever had in real life. We were at a conference, and I was telling him why I didn't like EOS.
Fran, right?
Yeah, that was DevCon. I can't remember what it was. 2018 though, or it was a long time. Yeah. Maybe October.
You're looking right on that one so far.
Well, hey, there's a reason. There's a reason I'm the host of my own show today. Andrew Mo, what about you? How long do you think it's before we see a Web3 decentralized social media actually be able to get some traction? I think you're on mute, Andrew, or either your dog has your tongue.
Meatball, you take this. So I think this is Meatball talking. So I think the Lens protocol was already teased last June. So this is something that is already a year in the making. Consider that this is, like Crypto Blood said, and probably everybody's going to agree, not going to be popular. But I want to give it to you in a haiku, because I've been really into Ghost of Tsushima, which is
and is this different from a Loku?
It's not.
Oh,
it's the same.
I watched a documentary about it on Roku. But go ahead.
What about Goku?
Here's a Roku. Here's a Loku about popular DeFi. Ready? NFT for you. That's the first line. Let's see. Built on Polygon sidechain. 5 more. Enables faster assets.
I mean, that is the peak of this channel. It's all downhill from there. Not of this show today. This was the peak of BitBoy Crypto today. This moment, someone box this up and clip this. I mean, I don't know how we get any better from here. Let's
Give him a
quickly.
point.
Thank you, Ben.
Let's quickly move on. Austin, how about you? Decentralized social media. Are we going to have one that gets traction? And if so, what's it going to be?
I see it happening towards the end half of this decade. So not these next 5 years, but maybe the next 5 years. And to me, what all these decentralized platforms have, they don't have discovery. They don't have the network effect. They don't have the users. I think maybe our best chance is maybe a rogue agent like Jack Dorsey, maybe forming, splitting off and doing like a decentralized Twitter on some cryptocurrency.
They would call it the Nose
like
Ring Alliance.
Exactly. We're all getting one. But I think we're too early.
Yeah, I'm too late in nose rings as well. All right, Seth, I'm going to be honest with you here. Top 2 scores right now, 10-10. All you got to do is get 1 point. You just have to give the right answer to the question. That's it, and you win.
Already know what it is.
Are we going to get a social media decentralized version or a decentralized social media unto itself that will get traction? When's it going to happen?
Ben, Twitter already created a splinter group that open sourced some of their code in 2018. If we don't have it now, we're never going to get it.
There it is.
Boom.
There it is. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens when you get yours truly hosting your own show. You get a score of 8, 9, 10, 11. That's pretty good. I wasn't even trying to be fair. I wasn't even trying to be fair. It just worked out this way. Seth, you win the show today. Let's go ahead. Let's give this man his 30 seconds to fame and fortune. Congratulations.
Well, first off, thanks for having me back on the show. It's always a fun time, and I'm honored and privileged to be with such intelligent people. I just want to tell the audience, if you're not following everybody on this panel, you're missing out big time. When markets are bad, that's when we leak our best alpha. You need to be following everybody with notifications. BitBoy, that's what I got for you. That's it.
There we go. All right, guys. That's it. That's all we got. Be blessed. BitBoy is host out.